The town of Hinton respectfully acknowledges that it is located on the First Peoples' traditional lands. We recognize this traditional territory to show respect and understanding to those who walk this land since time immemorial. Today, we uphold our ongoing responsibility to work together in the spirit of the intent of the treaties with all the First Peoples and nations that call this place home. The town expresses gratitude for the opportunity to build a better community on these sacred lands for generations to come. And now we will call our regular council meeting for October 7th, 2025 to order. First item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Council, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening? Administration, any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have one under section 6.6, letter of support for Highway 40 tourism development.
Thank you, CAO Panasset. Council, we're looking for a amendment to the agenda to add item 6.6, letter of support for Highway 40 tourism development. Any councilors like to make that motion? Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make the aforementioned amendment as suggested by administration.
Thank you. And Secretary, we're going to need to put the amendment up first and then the acceptance. Thank you. And that would read that the council amend the agenda to include item 6.6, letter of support for Highway 40 tourism development. Thank you, Secretary. Council, the motion on the floor is the council amend the agenda to include item 6.6, support of tourism development. That's actually needs to read letter of support for Highway 40 tourism development. Thank you. Thank you. Council, the motion on the floor is that council amend the agenda to include item 6.6, letter of support for highway tourism development. Council, any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. Next, we will look for a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Council? Councilor Hawes.
You'd like to move that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Thank you, Councilor Hawes. Council, the motion on the floor is that council adopt the agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. That will take us to section 3 of the agenda this evening, council minutes for adoption. Council? Councilor Hawes.
I'd like to move that we adopt regular council minutes for September 16th, 2025, committee of the whole meeting for September 23rd, 2025, and the special council meeting of September 23rd, 2025.
Thank you, Councilor Hawes. Council, the motion on the floor is that council adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting of September 16th, 2025, the committee of the whole meeting of September 23rd, 2025, and the special council meeting of September 23rd, 2025. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. For section 4, we do not have any community announcements this week, so we will move to section 5, presentations. We have item 5.1, the Hinton Youth Advisory Council.
Hi, Council. Thank you for having us here today. On our last term in Youth Council, we had 8 youth counselors, including Youth Counselor Emily,
Counselor Abigail,
Annika,
Hayden,
Finn,
Carell,
myself, Sterling.
and myself. Activities that we did this year include mental health-based project, recommended highway silhouette designs, gingerbread brainstorming, many committee and fun debates, exercises and lessons in Robert's rules, listened to many guest speakers, community engagement, decided on swag, and toured the government.
Our project this year was wellness care kits, which included providing wellness, encouraging care packages to youth in our community to help our youth during wildfire season as it is highly stressful, to promote mental health at challenging times. And our budget was $1,500 from set HYC budget, and we spent $302.40 on mental health handouts, $316.65 on supplies, $750 on bags, and we had 75 kits, which was $18.25 per kit. The guest speakers we had this term include Trent McClellan from Development and Infrastructure Services, Jasmine and Marilyn from Mountain Edge Culture and Arts, Glenn and Sean from Hinton Mountain Biking Association, Kathy from Toastmasters, and Deanna Cedarstrand from Full Circle.
Some of the volunteer work our counselors have done over the past term were swim meets, volleyball tournament, figure skating, dance studio, prom committee, New Heights Fitness, and food bank.
Our debates and meeting procedures include other debates were, should we bring back extinct animals? Our swag debate, so the debate on which sweaters we should get, the mascot for Hinton, the silhouettes that you can see on some of the lampposts, and our project idea. And our procedures were following Robert's rules and alternating chair and minute takers.
This is our year in pictures. Thank you for inviting us to be here and presenting to you. What questions do you have?
Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the conversations I had last night at the forum was with some citizens about our youth council and whether or not it would be something you'd enjoy to see more debates or more topics that shadow some of what council is discussing in chambers as well. I think one that you identified was the silhouettes, right? That's something that we saw. It's something that you saw. How do you feel about that? Would that be something you'd enjoy?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea because I remember at our last meeting, we talked about what we would prefer for like the plebiscite on the rec center. We talked about that for a bit. And I think that would be a good idea.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Thanks again. It's great having all of you participate. It's appreciated to see the good work that you're doing. So keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Councilor Haas.
Thank you. I'm interested on the Hinton mascot debate. What was that all about? Remember?
I think that one was about which mascot Hinton should, if we like switch the mascot, which one we would want as our mascot. I'm not 100% sure which one we chose though. I can't remember.
Okay. I was just curious on if you did choose a different one, what it was. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Haas. Councilor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I know what being on Hinton Youth meant to me. What did it mean to you? What do you get out of it?
Go first.
Well, it means a lot that you know, we can have our voices heard in our communities, and this is just a great way of like showing our voice and becoming more confident in the things we do and representing Hinton in a small way.
I think I really like it because I think it's important for youth voices to be heard. And I also like helping out our community and learning things about like Robert's rules and how governments work and stuff. So I think it's really cool.
Thank you. Councilor Stashik.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry, can you cue your microphone again? I finger fudged that. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to express my appreciation to the two of you for being on youth council, as well as the other 6 youth councilors who sat on council this year. I believe that this is kind of the last official act of your youth council. And so when youth council's next back before council will be a new group, I'm sure council's looking forward to that, but I did want to take a minute to extend my appreciation, and if I can speak for council's appreciation for you guys and everyone else for stepping up to be on the youth council. One thing that I did want to echo though is what Councillor Magoon said. I would really like to see moving forward, if youth council could debate and give some feedback to council about what some of the issues and debates and discussions are that council is looking at, and get some real feedback from the youth in our community about what their thoughts are on how council should move forward on certain strategic items. So I'll be looking forward to hopefully seeing that when the next youth council convenes. Again, thank you and good job.
Thank you, Councillor Ostashik. And for myself, well, quite frankly, I'm very proud of our youth council. I've seen every one of our youth counselors in the community volunteering at events, working, you name it. It's been very exciting for me. I haven't had a lot of interactions with all of you directly, but I have watched you all develop over the course of the last year. And to watch brand new youth counselors come in and have the nerves and be afraid to publicly speak, and to watch you two give this presentation in front of council here today and doing just as good as any adult that sits in front of us. It's fantastic to see. I have two questions for the both of you. What was your funnest activity this year, and what would you say to prospective new youth counselors in the next term?
I think our funnest activity we did so far was probably when we actually handed out the bags. I did that at the youth center. I think it was just fun to hand out bags to help some people. And for the next youth council, I think it would be good to do some more work within the community, but also I like what Councillor Ryan, Magoon, and Ostashek said about debating more real issues. I think that'd be good as well.
Thank you.
I think my favorite activity that we did this year was our gingerbread house contest during Christmas. It was building gingerbread houses that like represented Hinton. So that was very fun. And I think to the next youth council, I would just say, like, I know it's scary, like, you know, talking in front of people and like having your voice heard, but it really does matter and it makes a difference.
That's good advice to the new batch of counselors too. Thank you very much, Councillor Sterling and Councillor Maddie. Council, do we have any other questions for our youth counselors today? Seeing nothing, thank you very much, and good luck with whatever you do next.
Thank you. And as the term ends, we say goodbye to 3 members of our adult administration team, Councillor Joan Race, Albert Ostashek, and Margaret Schultz. Your contributions have been invaluable, and we hope you had fun.
Thank you very much.
Guide us during our meetings and doing the behind the scenes work to help us succeed. Thank you to Councillor Ostashik and Councillor Race for your mentorship. And thank you, Council, for having us and doing this amazing job.
Thank you, counselors.
And everything can be found in the community and online. And those are our online channels. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And anyone watching, any youth watching, do sign up for next year's youth council. It's very fun and exciting time. That will take us to section 6 of our agenda this evening. And item 6.1, fees, rates, and charges bylaw. Number 2001, TAC 4. CO Panasic.
Thank you, Mayor. This one will go to Director McLaughlin.
Good evening, Council. This bylaw change is in front of you tonight because we're currently underway with our water meter project. And when we set the dates originally before construction actually began, we had multi-residential meters starting to take effect November 1st. We're not going to hit that date. They are out there installing multi-residential meters, while at the same time they're doing residential meters. When we went out to request for proposal on this project, we envisioned that they would do one then the other instead of doing both at the same time. So we're looking for you tonight to make a minor change to the fees, rates, and charges bylaw. It's the changes highlighted in yellow. Basically, it is removing part of the table so that all the meters for residential and multi-residential will take effect at the same time. And the commercial and industrial properties remained unchanged as they're currently using meters.
Thank you, Director McLaughlin. Council? Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a point of clarification, because the yellowed changes are the only identified ones, I'm assuming that's why the recommendation, plus with the turnover of council potentially, is to go through all the readings, unanimous consent this evening.
Director McLaughlin.
Yes, that's correct. That would be our preference because if it isn't passed come November 1st, we're not capable of doing the readings with the multi-res.
So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that council give first reading to fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001-4.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Council, the motion on the floor is that council give first reading to fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001 TAC 4. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. And Councilor Magoon voting in favor by hand, and that motion is carried unanimously. Councilor Race.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to move that council give second reading to fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001-4. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Race. Council, the motion on the floor is that council give second reading to fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001 TAC 4. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. Councilor Ostashik.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the council give unanimous consent to move to third reading of fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001-4.
Thank you, Councilor Ostashik. Council, the motion on the floor is that council give unanimous consent to move to third reading of fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001 TAC 4. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. And Councilor Ostashik voting in favor by hand. And that motion is carried unanimously. Councilor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council give third reading and add the fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001-4.
Thank you, Councilor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is the council give third reading and enact the fees, rates, and charges bylaw number 2001 TAC 4. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. Council, is there anything further for item 6.1 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.2, budget policy FN number 1302. That's going to Director Bourbeau.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Administration is before you this evening with the budget policy. It was presented first off to Committee of the Whole on September 23rd. If once adopted, a budget policy will assist with providing concise and consistent messaging around budget preparation. It will help align workflows, clarify expectations, and it also reinforces council's expectations of administration for the budget process. At the Committee of the Whole meeting, there was a little bit of housekeeping to take care of in 4.1. We removed the plural in some of the words and we corrected the formatting. Other than that, the policy before you is as presented on the 23rd, and we're before you this evening with the recommended action to approve as presented.
Thank you, Director Bourbeau. Council? Councilor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council approve the budget policy FN number 1302 as presented.
Thank you, Councilor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is the council approve the budget policy FN number 1302 as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. Council, is there anything further for item 6.2 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.3, Reserve Policy Framework Amendment. This is going back to Director Bourbeau.
Thank you. When administration bought the reserve policy and the funding framework to council before, we had the little note on the bottom of the framework that over time we'd be bringing forward some requests for name changes and some housekeeping on that. We're before you this evening because as of through the policy, council is the only body that has the authority to create, amend, close reserves. But administration is recommending that we split the water sewer major reserve into a water reserve and a wastewater reserve. And this is being done essentially to provide clarity to budget holders as to how much money there truly is available for these two very independent and specific types of projects. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Bourbeau. Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question on, let's see here, just above where it says implications of decision on the report. It said the suggested split, and then it talks about the divvying up between the total amounts was based on historical funding percentages. Was any of that also linked to what we know about the state of our infrastructure in those two different areas and what we anticipate, might drain us a little bit more heavily? Did that come into play when talking about those splits at all?
Director Bourbeau.
Through to all of council. Essentially the splits, it was looked at very financially, as in we had the capital surcharges in effect for a number of years on some bylaws that now are no longer going forward because of the metering and the changes to the fees, rates and charges. So we truly looked at it, just what those percentages, what the decisions were back in early 2000s when the capital surcharges. I didn't look into that. My apologies.
No, that's okay. And it's hard enough to nail down how to split those two out as it is. I'm good either way. I was just curious if that was part of the conversation. It's totally good. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Councilor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the council approve separating the water sewer major reserve into two reserves named water reserve and wastewater reserve. If I can speak to it real quickly, this is a prime example of the importance of this reserve policy moving forward. Being able to identify certain reserves with the actual amounts in it when we combine the two, it's not as transparent, obviously. And one of the questions we've got over the months is that surcharge and how much we've taken in, from that. So I appreciate this adjustment and be in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Haas. Council, I'll remind you that there's currently no motion on the, you made the motion.
Yeah.
Thank you. You spoke to it. Council, the motion on the floor is that council approve separating the water sewer major reserve into two reserves named water reserve and wastewater reserve. Councilor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will support this motion. My question to Alicia is, the reserves are so important. Do we have any safeguards to prevent us from dipping in to some of these very important reserves?
Director Bourbeau.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Race. The policy before you and the funding framework that was passed or adopted by council earlier this year is truly your best mechanism, and the format of the reserves is now in a state that it's very easy to be bringing these reports forward to council on a much more regular basis. You're also in charge of the amounts that are going to be funded into the reserves outside of budget, so through the investment income as well as the potential surplus at the end of the year. But truly it is also a relationship between council and administration that we are doing our due diligence, because it is written in the policy that council is the only body that has the authority to create, amend, and to close reserves.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ace. Thank you, Director Borbeau. Council, the motion on the floor is the council approves separating the water sewer major reserve into two reserves named Water Reserve and Wastewater Reserve. Is there any further discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councillors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. I'd like to thank administration for the great work on this reserve policy and bringing things like this forward. This might look like a little thing, but with all of the work that we've done to secure our future with water and wastewater, those two systems are going to be diverging in the very near future, where wastewater treatment is going to be staying at the mill and water treatment is moving into its own facility. So starting the process of separating those reserves today is a pragmatic and forward-looking move. Thank you very much, administration, for bringing that forward. Council, is there anything further on item 6.3 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.4, pause interest charges on unpaid accounts. And this is going back to Director Borbeau. Busy one for you tonight.
Thank you, Council. So this item is before you this evening, again, trying to be very proactive. We had a labor disruption with Canada Post earlier in the year, and it created some angst for citizens who choose to do their bill paying or receive their invoices by mail. We currently have only 37% of the registered utility accounts going out through email or an electronic version. So the lion's share of it is through Canada Post. We're just before you to find out council's appetite to make this change and are good with whatever direction you provide for us.
Thank you, Director Borbeau. Councillor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to take the recommended action and move that council approve suspending charging interest on unpaid utility and accounts receivable accounts until a resolution is reached on Canada Post worker disruption. And I would like to speak to it. I just want to express my appreciation to administration. I think it's a very thoughtful and empathetic thing, considering the labor disruption and understanding that a large portion of our folks still rely on the mail for those utility bills. So thanks. Thank you very much. I think it's really, really nice.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Council, the motion on the floor is the council approves suspending charging interest on unpaid utility and accounts receivable accounts until a resolution is reached on Canada Post worker disruption. I have a question for administration, Director Borbeau, or CO Panasic, with this motion as it's worded, what would the conditions be to lift the suspension on the interest charges on these unpaid accounts in the future? Would it require a motion of council, or is there a trigger point in this motion that allows administration to start reinstituting those charges?
Through to all of council. So the lens with which it was written in is once a resolution is reached, meaning that Canada Post workers are back and mail is flowing in delivery, that would be our service charges or interest rates would then be applied to the account. Yeah. We would be back before council should the disruption go on into 2026 as to have a motion for the outstanding taxation accounts, anything that has not been paid by December 31st. So if it's a long disruption, you'll see us again on the tax accounts, but otherwise our lens is that when mail is flowing again, then we turn the penalties back on the accounts.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of a very long disruption, let's hope not for that. We'll have more issues, I'm sure, than just these accounts receivable. We do a lot of mail. But just to be absolutely clear, if the labor disruption resolves itself, Canada Post workers go back to work, administration does not require any action of council to go back to business as normal, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. Then I'll be in favor of this motion. Councillor Race.
Thank you, sir. I will support this motion. Should the strike, or should it go on for, many months, are you going to put out any information saying you're certainly more than welcome to drop in and pay your bill?
Through to all of council, there has been communications that is, I'm not sure if it's already circulated, but we are going to continue with our campaign to get individuals signed up for electronic delivery of their bills. We offer electronic methods of payment. We're very proactive in encouraging that. We do see a surge in the monthly payment program where people can bring their information in. So there will be lots of communication on that, and we will use this to help get more electronic delivery of everything. But there are some people that just are not there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Race. Council, the motion on the floor is the council approves suspending charging interest on unpaid utility and accounts receivable accounts until a resolution is reached on Canada Post worker disruption. Is there any other discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councillors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. Council, is there anything further for item 6.4 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.5, Hinton Listens. And this is a notice of motion. So I am going to move that council direct administration to investigate options to diversify delivery of Hinton Listens public responses and bring a report to a future committee of the whole meeting. I'm going to speak to it for a moment. Council, when I started midway through this term, we've been pushing Hinton Listens responses this entire time. And early on, I don't believe we had the back end procedures correct to actually be responding to Hinton Listens inquiries. That situation has changed. Administration, I think, is doing a great job of tracking Hinton Listens inquiries, making sure responses are going out right away. But we've seen a number of incidents where, because of multiple technical factors, I imagine, our emails aren't being received by the Hinton Listens initiates, I suppose, by our citizens. One reason or another, it's ending up in junk, it's ending up in spam, they're not getting delivered. I would like to direct administration here to look at solutions that involve more than just email responses to get these Hinton Listens responses out to our community in the future. I know they've been working on these things, but I want to make it explicit so that they have the freedom to go about and find some new solutions. And also, I'd like the next council to understand right off the hop that Hinton Listens, while it's great and we're giving responses, it's not the be-all end-all solution. We still need to look for greater solutions. So with that, the motion on the floor, council, is that council direct administration to investigate options to diversify delivery of Hinton Listens public responses and bring a report to a future committee of the whole meeting. Councillor Hawes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not in favor. I think, Hinton Listens is always is growing and trying to improve. I guess my question to the CAO, in your operating highlights, there's a mention of implementation and back-end training has commenced for upcoming changes to Hinton Listen for improved public interface communication service to customers. So I guess my question is this already happening? I know the mayor mentioned that, but what is happening? And with this motion, could that, is it redundant? I'm not sure. That's what I guess.
CEO Panasic.
Sure. Through the mayor, I'll answer Councillor Hawes's question, but just a little bit of background on Hinton Listens too. There are lots of cases where the emails are going into spam filters. But the problem also was on our end for some of these. We do have a glitch in the system that we believe we have solved. But when we send it out, the system shows as completed, but the emails for whatever reason aren't sent. So we have already launched just launched internally a new Hinton Listen system, similar to what we have now. The public interface, I don't think will change all that much, but internally it's much nicer. I believe there's verification methods to make sure that the communication goes out. There will be a variety of different communication methods that people can sign up for. If for some reason, email isn't reliable or we are getting sent to the spam filter or whatever the case may be. So I think we've done quite a few with that, or quite a bit of work in relation to that. And this is also going to be integrated with our workflow system a little bit better. So as topics that the community brings up need to go into the workflow of, say, the infrastructure team or whatever team it touches, it's just a seamless transition into it. So we have launched it, kind of a soft launch internally until we have that system fully tested and bug-free. But we do hope that, I believe it's early 2026 that we would launch that publicly. So we have done a lot of the work referenced into here, but if there is some alternative delivery options that we wanted to look at or anything else on top of that, council can certainly pass the motion. We'll look into it as well.
Thank you, CO Panasic.
If I may.
Councillor Hawes, you want to follow up?
Yeah, I think despite the work being done, I think that, I think this is worth taking a look at to see if there are other options. So I'll be in favor of this. If it's bringing back what we're already doing and there's not a whole lot other than that, that's fine. But if there's other options, I'd like to hear them. So I'll be in favor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Councillor Ostashik.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I just wanted to say that I am in favor of the motion, but I do have a question for administration. It was brought to my attention and I subsequently verified that there isn't really an option for reporting non-emergency bylaw complaints through Hinton Listens. Is that something that can be added, or are non-emergency bylaw complaints handled differently? Should they be submitted some other way?
CO Panasic.
Thank you through the chair to Councillor Ostashik. So there is a mechanism for bylaw complaints. Is that correct?
Not that I could see. None of the drop-down menus really encompassed anything regarding bylaw complaints or concerns. The closest thing that I could find was I forget what the drop-down menu said. It was something about general comments, I think is what the heading was.
CO Panasic.
Through the mayor to Councillor Ostashik. We'll look into that, but that certainly is something that we'll want to make sure is in the new interface, having that specific category.
If I could follow up.
Please.
And if it's not appropriate that it's in Hinton Listens, maybe something to direct where to make those kind of complaints out of, if not through Hinton Listens.
CO Panasic.
Thank you. And through the mayor to Councillor Stashik. No, I think that's, I think this is a mechanism that, especially as we get better, we want to encourage for bylaw complaints and all non-emergency type things. So no, we'll certainly look into that and make sure that if it's not a category, that it be made one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ostashik. It's a good catch. Council, the motion on the floor is a council direct administration to investigate options to diversify delivery of Hinton Listens public responses and bring a report to a future committee of the whole meeting. Is there any further discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councillors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. Council, is there anything further for item 6.5 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to our added item 6.6, letter of support for the Highway 40 tourism development. CO Panasic, I'm assuming you've got a printed copy of this letter for us?
Yes, through the mayor, your iCompass report should have been regenerated, and then we do have physical copies at the back if anybody else needs a copy. And Councillor Race, we were proactive and gave you a physical copy.
That's fantastic. Council, do we require any time to read this letter that we've just received? Let's take a 5-minute recess here. Thank you very much, everybody. And we will resume our regular council meeting for October 7th, 2025. We are on item 6.6, letter of support for Highway 40 tourism development. Councillor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the opportunity to read through this. First off, I want to start by making the recommended action that council approve the letter of support for the Hinton Destination Management Organization, DMO, for the Highway 40 Tourism Development and Investment Readiness Project. And if I can quickly speak to it, I think this is a great idea. It just shows again the initiatives that the DMO organization is taking to boost our tourism in our area. So, happy to do this. It's no financial, they're looking for finances, so there's no financial commitment on the part of the town. This is just a letter of support, so I'm happy to do it. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is that council approve the letter of support for Hinton's Destination Management Organization, DMO, for the Highway 40 Tourism Development and Investment Readiness Project. Is there any further discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councillors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. And council, I have to thank us for helping to set up this DMO. This is an ambitious project that they're setting off on, and I think it's going to be great things for us in the long term in our community. Council, is there anything further for item 6.6 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to section 7, information items. And item 7.1, Recreation Center Plebiscite Public Information Update.
Thank you through the mayor. If there's anything else that Director Bourbeau wants to add, but we did just put this included in for information for council to consider and all the different initiatives that have been going alongside this project.
Thank you, C.O. Panasic. Council, are there any questions for administration, or would a council like to motion to accept this report for information? Councilor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council accept this report for information.
Thank you, Councilor Race. Council, the motion on the floor is that council accept this report for information. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. That motion is carried. That will take us to item 7.2 on the agenda today, and that is a proclamation. Proclamation. National Depression Screening Day, October 9, 2025. Counseling Alberta is committed to providing affordable and professional counseling services that help build better lives for Albertans. Since 2005, National Depression Screening Day, NDSD, has raised community awareness by offering a free and anonymous online screening tool for depression. Whereas depression is the most treatable mental health issue, early treatment promotes faster recovery and prevents long-term effects on individuals and their families. Whereas in 2024, of the 2,498 Albertans who participated in the NDSD online screening test, 63% were recommended to seek further evaluation. Whereas during the week of October 6 to 12, Albertans are encouraged to check in on their mental health and take the free online screening test at areyoufeelingok.com. Now, therefore, on behalf of Council, I, Nicholas Nissen, Mayor of the Town of Hinton, do hereby proclaim October 9th, 2025 as National Depression Screening Day. And that will take us to section 8 of our agenda this evening, correspondence. Councillor Haas.
I'd like to move that we accept the correspondence for information.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is that council accept the correspondence package for information. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. That will take us to section 9 of the evening, notices of motion. C.O. Panasic, are there any notices of motion this evening?
Through the mayor, there are not.
That makes sense. They wouldn't work out anyways, as this is our last council meeting for this term. That will take us to section 10 this evening, reporting, and we'll start off with council reports, and we'll start with Councillor Ostashik.
Thank you, Mayor Nissen. So earlier this afternoon, had a meeting with the Northern Rockies Hinton Destination Marketing Organization. And I think the biggest news to come out of that meeting is up to this point, the DMO has been running with a contracted executive director. They have since transitioned to hiring a full-time permanent employee as executive director. So Tracy McBride is the new executive director for the DMO. She is an extremely experienced marketer and economic development individual. She's starting on October 20th with onboarding and orientation. First official duties in office start November 3rd. She has more than 2 decades of progressive leadership in tourism development, economic growth, and nonprofit management across Western and Northern Canada. Her experience includes executive and senior roles with Tourism Prince George, Senior Development Manager for Travel Alberta, and Métis Nation of British Columbia. Well, very qualified, very excited to have her on board and looking for great things from the DMO moving forward. Outside of that, DMO presented some preliminary numbers for 2025. I don't believe they're public yet, so I'm not going to quote any of them. But the revenue that the DMO has pulled in its first full year of operation looks very promising. Balanced books, and they got a lot done this year. Looking forward to continuing to be able to promote Hinton in a very real and substantial way to bring us even higher on the list of destination for travelers going through our area. So that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stashik. That's very exciting for the DMO. Councillor Magoon. Can you cue your mic?
There we go. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Nothing from committees to report, but I honestly, as this is our last regular meeting of this council, I'd like to send out a really special thank you to both Councillor Ostashik and Councillor Race, and even though he's no longer with us, Councillor Taylor, for the time and effort that they've put into council. It's been a pleasure working with you. Best of luck to all the candidates, Mr. Mayor, other councillors, Councillor Hawes, Councillor Chambers, and of course our council candidates who are in the room. It was a great thing to see everybody at the forum, and that the forum was so well attended last night. Really good session with all of the council candidates, followed up by a really good session with all of the mayoral candidates. It was really interesting to hear everybody speak, and I hope it was helpful for folks in making their decisions moving into election season. So thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. Councillor Hawes.
Thank you. Just one thing to report, and it's a bit early, but I wanted to put it out there and get the vibe going. So the Hinton Library is going to be hosting a Halloween giveaway, giving out candy on the 31st. But the other thing that's going to be also in addition to the candy is a book. We have a number of books that are not on the shelves, and we had a book sale not long ago, but we still have many to try to discard. And so we're going to be giving books away, both to the children that come for Halloweening and also the parents as well. So if you can come by the library at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the 31st, that's what's happening there. So I just wanted to throw out that early. So other than that, that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Councillor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing to report as far as committees, but last night I did attend the forum for councillor and mayor. I don't know what came over me, but I just had this sense of lightness as I was sitting there. I truly did, and I enjoyed the whole evening, and I too wish all of you and my fellow councillors much success, and I'll be watching you with Sheila. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Race. And you're not done yet. You still have one more meeting to chair. And reporting for myself, last week on Friday, I was able to attend the grand opening for the Pine Valley Lodge. It's very exciting. That's a 5-year-long project. But Gabby's Pantry, the little coffee shop in the front, is open and running now, and it's fantastic pastries. The tavern, community tavern, should be open. It's fully constructed. It's just hiring the staff and getting everyone trained up. So if you haven't seen it already, swing by the Pine Valley Lodge and check out these great spaces that we've made for our community and our seniors. Tomorrow, there is the Community Hazardous Fuel Reduction Open House, the Chafer program at the Hinton Center in the evening. Anybody interested in the fire reduction or fire risk reduction work being done around Hinton this coming fall and winter should attend that open house tomorrow. On Monday, on Tuesday, we didn't have a council meeting last Tuesday, but it was National Truth and Reconciliation Day. I was able to attend the Friendship Center events, and they are interested in partnering with the town next year for that day. And hopefully the town can get involved with a little bit of reconciliation. I've also heard from CBC. They've got a new bureau out here in Hinton with a bureau reporter, and they are hiring more reporters for our region. So if you know anybody that is a qualified journalist, send them down to the CBC website, and hopefully we can get some more reporters in this town because we could use some media. And then finally, I found out this week that a local, Gordon Stenhouse and his team from FRI Research, have been finalisted, or they're finalists for an Alberta Science and Technology Leadership Award. These are being awarded on November 7th, and I want to say congratulations to Gordon and team for becoming finalists in the Environment and Ecosystems category. Very exciting. It's exciting to see innovative and really brilliant people doing great things out of Hinton. And that is all I have for reporting. Councillor Ostashik.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a question for you regarding this CBC reporter. I had heard several weeks ago that CBC was going to put a reporter in our community to cover the region, which was great. And it's great news again to hear that they're looking at putting more media coverage in our area. Do we know anything though about how that information that those reporters are gathering are going to be disseminated locally so that our local community has some access to local news again?
So that's a very good question, Councillor Stashik, and I would encourage every single person in Hinton when they talk to our CBC reporter to point out that we need local distribution in a good way. The one that we have currently in town is doing recordings for radio, and that radio is being played on CBC Edmonton. So anybody listening to CBC Edmonton in their vehicles here in Hinton can pick that up. We can pick it up on the website, but I can tell you my family in Edmonton keeps hearing about us. So from that standpoint, somebody's hearing about Hinton, but I think they're moving into the rurals again for the first time, and we need to remind them that we're out here, we're not in Edmonton. So the more we can do that, the better off we'll all be. But I hope this is continued investment and continued hiring means a continued improvement in service for us.
If I could follow up, I don't know if you've got contact information for the local reporter. If you do, if you could share it, I would be more than happy to pass on a request for some type of local media coverage that's more or less exclusively locals, even if it's a web page, whatever it might be, some kind of local news coverage for our local news would be a great asset for the community.
Absolutely. I'll pass on some
encourage
information.
them to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor Stashik. We'll go to CAO Panasic for administrative reporting.
Thank you, Mayor. To the rest of council, I don't have anything else to add other than our operating highlights. But if there are any questions on this report or anything else, we'd be happy to answer.
Councillor Haas.
Not a question. I just want to highlight the library. As you can see there, we have a fossil that is displayed and will be displayed for, I believe, about a year in the library. So if you haven't gone to the library and to check it out, it's really cool. And I just wanted to mention, I forgot to mention, but Truth and Reconciliation, the town did have a Truth and Reconciliation. I attended, and we had our staff had some words to say about it, and then Ophelia filled us in on some crafts. So I was crafting that day, building a drum. It was not as good as the other ladies that were at the table, but anyway, but it was good to get together and and celebrate that day. So thank you, or think about that day. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Council, is there anything further for reporting? Counselor Haas.
I guess just a quick question. I did see that there was a post about the pool shutdown. Things are moving along. Are we on track for reopening when I believe what is October 14th or 15th, something like that? Track?
Director McLaughlin.
Yes, I believe we are on track to hit the advertised opening day.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And was the painting able to be done, or did that not work out this time around?
I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to get it for you.
Fair enough. Oh, CEO Panasic.
Yeah, thank you to the mayor, to the rest of council. So the painting project was going to be a carry forward into the next year's budget, just because we couldn't, there wasn't a contractor available to get it done during this very specific time that we needed it done. So we will just be carrying it forward and getting it completed next year.
Thank you for that update. Yeah, painting in those wet spaces isn't always easy, and timing matters, but I know we were looking forward to some brighter colors. Is what it is. Anything further for reporting, council? Seeing nothing, we'll move to section 11. We have a few closed session items. Council? Counselor Haas.
Like to move into closed session.
Thank you, Counselor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is the council move into closed session at 5 p.m. And councilors, please vote now. I'll be in favor by hand. Oh. And Councilor Race also in favor by hand. And that motion is carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody. We are headed into closed.
Kristen, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And just to confirm with our communications person, we're not live streaming this.
It did just ask me if I was okay with being live streamed, but as long as it's off, that's good.
Yeah, it says streaming up there. That makes me curious. Yeah, there's